think dealing with a lot of the trauma that many communities in Chicago have dealt with the Chicago Police Department, we didn't know what the outcome would be. We've seen so many cops get off, so I have to tell you I was very tense and I had a lot of anxiety leading up to. I was one of the original organizers 3 years ago when we shut down the Mag Mile, and we did it in a very peaceful way. You know, I have to admit I was emotional. I was crying as the verdict was being read. Because it was such a long journey. This is 3 years in the making. This is people shutting down shopping centers, shutting down highways, shutting down, walking out of school. And a lot of people thought that it was in vain. And today it proved that, you know, we have people power.
It was hard. It was hard because we fought for so much. That no matter how this verdict came, it was very emotional for all of us standing out there. And the fact that they found mitigating circumstances is honestly a disappointment, because I think this was cold-hearted murder. But how can you call it a disappointment when we just made history, though? And we will continue to do so.
So this is just the beginning, and I think that when we hear organizers say that, it's not just the issue of police brutality, right? This is the issues of our schools not being adequate. This is the issue of a housing crisis in the city of Chicago, not having livable wages for people not having the ability to freely walk around just as Black and brown folks in this city.
I was prepared for the worst. I was prepared for him to not be convicted or be found guilty, because so many others haven't or have been found innocent. And there were a lot of rumors of rioting, and I honestly didn't believe them, because I have faith in my own community that we would not do something like that. And even if we did, that's not a surprising response to the amount of corruption that has, or that would have occurred or possibly occurred, and then the history of corruption in Chicago.
I think it wasn't what I expected. It's kind of a weird verdict because he wasn't convicted of first degree, and he was found not guilty of police misconduct. But the 16 accounts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon was pretty big. So I kind of felt inspired to come down. That meant a lot to me.
The immediate next step is for us to gather and recognize and process this power that we have. We did what they said was impossible, and what they beat us repeatedly for attempting. We have many policy demands that we've been fighting for: CPAC, civilian control of the police, No Cop Academy, funding our communities, End the Gang database, which not only overcriminalizes Black people, but it helps the CPD collude with ICE, which they're not even supposed to.
I also believe that this isn't the last case. We need to continue working, especially because there's so many cases, and then there's so many other issues with gun violence in Black and brown communities. And I also believe that there are a lot of Latino people who believe that it's just an African American issue, which it's not. It's Latin and Central America have histories of police brutality and police conspiracy for murder and hiding different assassinations, and it's something that needs to be defended as a populace, and as a community we need to band together.
So I'm willing to fight for a better city, and I call all gang communities, and I call every community known to man. We need to be self-productive, not self-destructive. We need to not destroy our city. We need to come under one umbrella: peace and harmony.
I have a great respect for the law and the authorities, but if there's an issue in there, I think it needs to be addressed, and it can't be something that's swept under the rug.
Even though my friends took charges, people got beat, I had to pull bodies out from under police attacks that were unjustified, things that are banned by international law. Our First Amendment rights have been violated in so many ways and so viciously, and they couldn't stop us. So I guess if that's what we got to do, we're going to keep coming out here until we get full justice.
I think we have a long way to go. This is one thing to a larger infrastructural problem in the city of Chicago. Chicago Police Department has a stringent history of inappropriate behavior, torture, tactics, specifically with Black and brown communities, and it needs to stop. So it's one step, but we have so much more work to do in reforming and rehabbing CPD.